call a meeting to order for the Rock Valley Community College District number 511 Committee of the Whole meeting for Tuesday, September 2025. Can we have a roll call?
Nelson. Simpson.
Here.
Trojan.
Here.
Goldsmith here. Kudia.
Here.
Blake.
Here.
Salto. Gorski.
Here.
All right.
All right, so we were to have a board member in attendance by other means of other than physical presence, but that looks like it's not going to happen. Now, Trustee Nelson has walked in the door at 5:16 p.m. You want to say here, Trustee Nelson? Say here? Here. Here, okay. So that looks like our complement of board members for this evening, unless Crystal calls in. She's always willing to. Hey. So, communications and petitions, public comment.
No communications and petitions and/or public.
Okay. Recognition of visitors.
No recognition of visitors.
Did we mix up the order here? You're just trying to confuse me on purpose. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Rick, you went on vacation. I didn't realize you also went to a health spa and changed your look overall. So. I'm not going to go there. Review of the minutes, Committee of the Whole, August 12, 2025. If you have any comments on them, we can talk about them. No? Okay. General presentations.
No general presentations.
Okay. So we're up for teaching, learning, and communications discussion. Board liaison, Trustee Goldsmith.
VP Snyder. Thank you.
Good evening. We're at a point in the semester where not much is changing since our census day was on Wednesday, September 3rd. So there's not much of an update since you received your packet. We're still about 5% ahead of last year for fall, still 5% ahead of budget, and still 1% ahead of the stretch goal for fall. If you combine summer one and fall and look at year to date, we're 6.4% ahead of last year at this time, still 7% ahead of budget, and 3% ahead of the stretch goal. Are there any questions?
It's just interesting to note that you almost have 12% more people, students, physically on campus.
And we've been seeing that for the last few years. We have a greater increase in people than we do in credits, which suggests we have more part-time students.
More part-timers.
Yep.
Do you see any reason driving that? A marketing program, economics, some luck?
I mean, my personal guess is
Rick,
just
thank you for that input. I mean,
increases in adult students or students who are working and providing care for children or their parents. I think that's my best guess.
okay,
Yes.
thanks. And just to clarify for those who may be listening but not watching, Rick Jenks is not here. I'm poking fun at Dr. Patrick Pyers. So thank you. Okay.
Good evening, trustees. Thank you for allowing me to share once more about Caring Campus this evening. As a reminder, Caring Campus is an initiative that identifies commitments to common behaviors that foster connectedness in the classroom. Once these behaviors are implemented consistently, students have been shown to have higher course completion rates and retention rates, all leading to higher overall completion rates. This is important because it ties to our strategic plan pillar number 2, exceptional educational opportunities, and strategic goal number 2, improve student readiness, academic success, and sense of belonging. Caring Campus was recently rolled out to faculty at the Fall Professional Development Day. To better understand how this was rolled out, I invite us all to watch this brief 5-minute video.
Caring Campus is a faculty-led initiative to expand and embed behaviors that increase our students' experience of connectedness to RVC. Simply put, students come where they feel welcome and stay where they feel cared about.
At Rock Valley College, we already exhibit the behavioral commitments of Caring Campus. This initiative aims to offer a means of sharing best practices and setting the expectations of care for new, full, and part-time faculty members. The 6 behavioral commitments of Caring Campus are:
I try to build community in my classes from day one. I want students to know it's okay to ask for help and they're not alone. None of us are making it through this world on our own. So I try to talk to students a little bit about the services offered through RVC's Personal Success Counseling page, but I also talk a little bit about my journey through college. I want students to know that I was once like them, trying to figure out a major, trying to figure out a career path, and honestly, needing a little bit of help along the way. What do you do?
Okay, welcome to one of my favorite classes. It is the last day just before the final exam, but students still have their name placards and they are beautiful. Thank you everyone for letting me take this video. So the name placards are just the way that we get to know each other and memorize each other's names. What do you do?
Whether we're at home, work, or school, we're able to do our best when expectations are clearly communicated. Behavioral Commitment 3 guides faculty to explain the course content, expectations, and grading framework using the course syllabus and Canvas, and to do so early and often.
Throughout the course, faculty engage students as people first and create opportunities for genuine engagement. You never know when a small gesture can become much more for a student.
A behavioral commitment I deploy is provide feedback early and often. Throughout the course, faculty provide regular feedback to support learning and improvement. I get a baseline at the very beginning of the semester for where students are at with their skill set, as well as their knowledge base for welding fundamentals. We get weekly check-ins along the way, you get a midpoint check-in, and it all culminates with the final assessment. We'll do a written exam as a final exam in the classroom, but we'll also do a final lab project that will include both aesthetics and structural components as it applies to welding technology. And then the students receive that feedback both verbally, but then also documented within scored rubrics. What do you do?
What does practicing situational fairness mean? Throughout the course, faculty treat the challenges that affect a student's learning and success on a case-by-case basis with understanding and compassion. So how does that relate to our daily situation? In the fire science program, we have high expectations of our students. We expect them to have regular attendance in class. We expect their assignments to be turned in by their due dates and times. We expect them to provide us with grace when life happens to us. If I have an adjunct faculty member that gets forced overtime at the fire department, our students have to understand that they may cancel class or find a substitute or postpone. Ought we not give our students the same grace? Life happens to our students the same as it does to us. Practicing situational fairness allows our students to have things happen to them and have an understanding that we will still provide them with the great educational opportunity that they expect. How does practicing situational fairness work for you? What does it look like in your classroom? Now, to learn more about Caring Campus, review the resource bank, or share your own best practice, search Caring Campus on the RVC intranet. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
I do have a quick question. At the part where it says preferred name, is that like the real name or like a nickname or?
It could be a nickname, however you want to be called. If your name was Gloria and you wanted us to just say Glory, then we'd be happy to call you Glory.
They do at church.
Coach.
See? Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
Very good.
Good evening, trustees. This evening, I present to you the final set of MOUs and IGAs from the school districts. We have the running start and dual and articulated credit agreements from RPS 205. The other agreement is from Keith Country Day, dealing with the dual and articulated credit. All three agreements from RPS 205 and Keith Country Day are all renewals. For Running Start, RPS 205, where students get a degree from RVC and their high school diploma when they graduate, there are 18 students who started in the fall of 2025. RPS caps students at 20 students, so we have 18. For the dual and articulated credit, we have 687 students unduplicated headcount from RPS 205. For Keith Country Day, the number of students taking dual and articulated credit are 16 students unduplicated count. Next month, we will bring you the annual report of enrollment numbers for early college, looking at the last 3 years, as we do every single year. So we'll do that next month.
First of all, I'm going to work down. John?
Did you say we have 687 students from Rockford?
Could you get closer to your microphone? Sorry to interrupt, John. Thank you.
Did you say we have 687 students in one of the programs from RPD?
In the dual and articulated credit program, yes, from RPS 205.
Well, it's great.
Yeah.
That was my question. That's surprising. Is this new or is
No, that has
they've
always
always
been.
had 600 some students?
Yes, always. The program that you had an issue with, Trustee Trojan, was the Running Start program, where they have a cap of only 20 students.
Right, I understand.
So they had 18 last year, and they have 18 again this year. But that's the
other
cap
dual
that they
credit,
put on it.
Dual and articulated is where you got 600 some.
Yes. Can you explain it? Well, he understands the dual and articulated
Surprising
credit.
number.
Yeah, let's just review both of the programs, and then my follow-up question would be, why the cap of 20 when the other one seems to be very popular too?
That's what the school district wants.
They got to pay for the other one.
Okay, well, yeah, let's, could you review the differences between the two programs for us again?
So the Running Start program is where the students enroll in high school, and they're going to get, at the conclusion of their program of study, a high school diploma and also an associate's degree from Rock Valley College. So they spend 2 years doing that. So they'll get their degree and they'll also get a high school diploma. And that's, the school district decides that they're only going to want no more than 20 students to do that.
Okay, so it'd be a little bit more specific here. As a representative of Rockford Public Schools District 205, verbally in a discussion, in an email, a website posting, or any other communication, explain why they're capping the one program at 20.
That's their prerogative, sir. That's what they decided they want to do.
They haven't shared with you why they're doing 20?
No, they haven't.
Okay. Have we asked? Do you want more? Do you want more? I guess if you don't want any more, then don't.
No, we definitely would want more, but every school district comes with a caveat of, we'll do this, we'll do that, this is our limitations. Every school district, we have, 17 or 18 school districts?
Right.
They're all very different.
Okay.
They are all very, very different in terms of what they want and so forth.
If I remember right, some years ago, in my early tenure, we had debated this thing with them, and it always came down to they were restricting because of either financial or they didn't want their high-grade students that would distort their academic performance. There was something to do with that, those two issues. And they deliver, I know some of the other trustees, talk with them too, and they just said, no, we're going to restrict it.
And before I get to you, is there anybody here that has a question on it?
So is this a consensus among like the different school districts that participate in this program for the cap of the amount, or is it just each individual one?
Each school district is different.
Okay.
Yes, so they're allowed to do how many ever they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gloria, any question?
Nope.
John?
Bob asked my question.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Answered the
Thank you, Dr. Stewart.
And it's not that we don't interpret this as a success, but the same question comes up all the time. Why do they cap it at 20 when we have got so many in another program? And I know it's not your responsibility to twist their arm and get more out of it, but maybe we could guilt them into it. I don't know. I'm just saying that's a bad phrase. But for example, Boone districts. What's their enrollment?
They don't have.
They don't have any?
No.
Okay, all right.
But what I could say to you is as well, I think Trustee Trojan, you mentioned this last year when I presented. You talked about the numbers of the dual credits at the high schools, numbers varying between school districts. And that's because, remember, we use the high school teachers who are qualified to teach college courses to be able to offer those courses at their high schools.
Good point.
So that is going to vary vastly among the school districts, because in some school districts, they don't have personnel housed at the high school who are qualified to teach some of the college level courses. So that's why the numbers
thank you for that gentle reminder and not saying, God, I've gone over this time and time again. Why can't I remember? But so thank you, appreciate it.
One quick, you said Boone County does not have running start?
Boone High School.
North Boone, you're talking
Yes.
about? Okay,
Okay.
just want to make sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. John?
Well, one way to attempt to persuade would be to offer scholarships. We would offer scholarships. We'd have to raise the money, but that might prime the pump.
I think our foundation does go to the high schools to promote availability of scholarships.
I meant for these specific programs.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
And we're trying to see how we could also help, because Dr. Spearman encouraged us to apply for a clean energy grant that would allow us to offer automotive and electric vehicles through this grant. And we're trying to see if we could help some smaller school districts. So we intend to apply for the grant. And if we get the grant, then we'll be able to help out some of these smaller school districts.
Gloria?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Do you have, like, right off the top of your head, an idea about the demographics of those that participate, both with the dual and running start?
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to research and bring that to you.
Yeah, I'd be curious about that.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Sure.
Any other follow-ups?
Nope.
Okay.
We're good.
Bob, did you have a
I
follow-up?
think one thing that Dr. Spearman and Brittany should do is 205 has their annual career expo in the fall. And I don't know if we have a table there that talks specifically about scholarship availability.
Right.
But if we don't, and I don't think we do, we should, because that'll get a lot of exposure. As you know, the Career Expo, all the young students come through there looking at different job opportunities to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah.
But having the table there specifically about scholarships would be one heck of a good selling point.
But I think this is why Dr. Spearman forwarded this grant to me to take a look at, because he was thinking particularly of high school students and how we could help out these smaller high school districts who have less funding.
Any other questions on these programs? Thank you again for your presentation, and thank you again for the successes. Thank you. I believe, is that it for teaching and learning then? Okay. Finance discussion, board liaison, trustee.
We have a couple of presenters. And
Karen.
right. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell them who you are?
Good evening. I am Karen Kerr. I am the Director of Business Services. And I am going to be presenting the purchase reports tonight. So purchase report A is for the FY 2026 amendments. Item A is John Morrissey Accountants, an increase of $4,000 to $34,000. This increase is to cover the annual cost increase for accounting services, the adult education program. This increase will be paid for by the Illinois State Board of Education grant, and it is a not to exceed. Item B is to Aleutian Company, an increase of $53,000 to a not to exceed amount of $1,353,000. This increase is to cover SAS conversion work that has been moved from FY25 to FY26. Purchase report B is for the FY 2026 purchases. Item A, Air One equipment for $43,800. This expense is for 5 self-contained breathing apparatuses and accessories for the Fire Science Department. Students will use these to train on real-world equipment, and Air One equipment is the sole source authorized dealer for our region. Item B, Air Gas USA for $78,600.43. This expense is for the Classmate CRX-10IA collaborative robotic welding system and will be paid for by the SCC4 Advanced Manufacturing Grant. Air Gas USA is the college's regional sole source distributor specializing in the welding configuration of the system. Items C and D are both for furniture from vendors who are sole source for the college's standards and are not to exceeds. Item C is for Atmosphere Commercial Interiors for $110,000. This is for office furniture, marker boards, privacy pathway walls, and media furniture for the Health Sciences Center and walls for the new offices in the Stenstrom Student Center. Item D, Kruger International for $27,000 for furniture for massage therapy classrooms, the lounge area, and mother's room in the Health Sciences Center third floor build-out. This expense also includes portable power USB-C charging stations that will complement furniture previously purchased for the student lounge areas in the Stenstrom Student Center. Item E is for Helm Electric for $1,567,500. This is for the lighting system upgrade for Starlight Theater. This purchase covers phases 2 and 3 of the architectural lighting system replacement at Starlight Theater. The project was competitively bid number 2519, and received one submittal, which was opened on August 26th. Helm Electric was the subcontractor on phase 1 of the electrical work. This amount includes 10% contingency and is a not to exceed. Item F may seem familiar. Ellen had mentioned it during the August board. Sheridan Wealth Advisors for $592,096.68. This consulting fee is for services related to the Employee Retention Credit, ERC. At the board's request, the college engaged Sheridan Wealth Advisors in October 2023 to pursue the opportunity. The college has now received Q2 2021 ERC payment totaling $3.83 million. The consultant's fee is 20% of the claim filed. This is exempt from bid under Exemption A. Item G for Sutton Ford for $58,708. This purchase is for a new 2025 Ford Police Interceptor to replace a high-mileage 2013 model in the RVC Police Department fleet. The vehicle is being purchased through a state bid solicitation, which was awarded to Sutton Ford. Item H, Testing Service Corporation for $40,000. This expense is for structural and construction testing services at the Downtown West campus site. It includes soil and concrete testing, fieldwork, lab services, and reporting. Testing Service Corporation is providing professional services, and this is a not to exceed. Item I, for Una Solutions, for $25,594. This is for the first year of a 3-year subscription to Bonfire, an online bid portal. This portal will improve efficiency, vendor engagement, and contract management. The platform will streamline solicitations, evaluations, and awards. This is exempt from bid under Exemption F. Item J, to CDWG for $170,206.25. This purchase is for a subscription to CrowdStrike cybersecurity software. It includes 24/7 monitoring by 7 to 10 analysts at a security operations center. The intent is to protect the college's network and systems. This is exempt from bid under Exemption F. I do have one item to speak of that would be redlined into Purchase Report B for the regular board meeting.
Can we hold off on that? You were on such a good roll. I didn't want to interrupt either Purchase Report A or B, but of the items that were presented in your packet, does anyone have any questions on anything in Purchase Report A? Anything in Purchase Report B? John?
I believe I'm sorry, I did have a question on A, and that was a Purchase Report A, B, the software for Illusion. Just so I'm clear, the original approved amount was 1.3 million, but they didn't finish the work. Could be said timely. So we're into the next budget year. And so I understand this right. Have they billed part of the 1.3 million?
This amount was not expensed in FY25. It was that the work moved.
Can you tell us what the original amount that we approved was? I presume it was over 1.3 million.
I don't have that in front of me, but we could get that for you.
I've heard that times before, but I've never seen, sometimes I never see results. But, and then, I mean, I'm curious as to when did they start on time? Did they have problems so they couldn't finish? You know, those are things that the board, or at least this board member, would be. Even I'm familiar with Illusion to some extent, but if they're not reliable, we want to get somebody who's reliable, I would think. The $53,000, is that because costs have gone up, or their bid increased, or do they have a kicker, or what's the deal on that?
The cost did not increase for the total. It's just that we did not expend it in FY25. So because the work had not been done yet, we thought it was going to be completed in FY25, and it moved.
I understood what you said. I'm wondering what are we increasing for? I get that there was an increased request, that I kind of want to know why.
Because the amount that we brought for Illusion for FY26 did not include that amount, because we didn't know it was moving at that time.
The $2025, not all of them were spent. So now we have to spend them in 2026, so it's a change to the 2026 budget year.
I got that, but I understood her answer to my question was that 1.3 million wasn't spent, and I want to know why we're adding another 53,000. If that's
we're adding it to this year's budget. That was last year or last cycle.
You're on the right track. The thing is, the project, is it 1.3 million in total, or is it 1.353 in total, irrespective of where the money, which year the money is spent.
Correct.
That's what he's trying to get at.
So the total of the total project.
Is the total project 1.3 or is the total project 1353? Forget about how it's distributed between the years. What's the total project cost?
My understanding of the request was that it was not changing the total project cost. It was just we're changing when we're paying it.
Right, but we'll look into it.
If you could bring that information to us prior to or at the next meeting, just for clarification. But
Okay.
what the total project cost is over the 2 fiscal years, and to probably anticipate any other questions from Trustee Nelson, switching Lucian right now would cost you a whole lot more money in moving to a new vendor and the data conversion and the training. So the best thing to do if you have an issue with a vendor like that is be as diplomatic as you can and just inform them that your board is asking about changes, and that might poke them in the side a little bit.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that that's true.
What?
I said I wouldn't doubt that that's true, but if they weren't performing, then they should be gently poked. I know they're a big company.
Well, if they weren't performing, I think the administration would bring it to us because they probably have a lot of frustrated people on campus. They may be frustrated already, but not frustrated enough to move forward that way. So it's like me and Microsoft. If I had a choice, I would never use it.
There you go.
Any other questions on A, purchase report A or B?
B.
Okay.
F, the consultant services, summarizing what you were saying is that we were on a contingent fee. We received, and we're paying them 20% of what we recovered. Is that right?
That's my understanding of this arrangement, yes.
Okay. On H, I'm curious as to, I understand what the bid is for. It's as far as bids that we approve, it's not one of the highest. But I'm curious, are we still observing and testing of soils, concrete, and other construction monitoring? And if so, why? Is this routine, or do we have problems that we're not hearing about?
No, I believe that this is just part of the construction process.
Okay.
Yes, it's just part of, so where we're at in the construction process, this is like a second phase. So now everybody's coming in, checking codes, make sure that they built it to this point appropriately, and so they have to test the site to make sure. So that's where, so this would have happened no matter what, but it should have been built into the cost
So
already.
we have to show whoever the inspectors are that we passed. Okay.
Sir.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe some of the testing you would do for soil testing and the like would be prior to building on it, just to make sure you're not building it, and then during or just, as you're going through the process to make sure you haven't contaminated the project either. The second pass, right. So, Trustee Trojan, did you have a question?
Yes.
No, I'll move to Trustee Trojan. We'll come back. I just want to give everybody a chance to chat.
No, just my usual complaint about the big numbers with the 0.25 and 0.43 cents. Can't you do something and eliminate, round it up to even 0.00?
That'll affect their bonding rating, though. Come on, no. Anybody else?
I'm going to harp on this every time until you get it straightened up.
Anybody else before I come back to Trustee Nelson? Gloria?
Well, it's not so much a question here, it's just a fun comment. Just reading about the fire science equipment. I don't know if you all heard, but Juan Noguera, who used to be our student trustee, he just got hired by the Loves Park Fire Department.
Cool.
Right here.
Congratulations. Trustee Nelson.
The question on, next question I had is on I, and it's the expenses bonfire, an online bid portal web application, which will increase our efficiency in bid documentation and audit trails, and we're approving the first year's payment of a 3-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have we, as the board, previously approved the contract?
This would be the first time we're engaging in a bid portal software.
Okay, but it says the first year of a 3-year contract. Has that been signed?
No. No, the contract is currently with legal for review.
And then in J, we've had some discussion on this particular topic, and I don't even want to say what it is, but is this, who's recommending that we obtain this particular software, if you know?
This came to us from the IT department. I believe that those discussions were proprietary. So this is what I have.
In addition, the colleges, and I mean, didn't be presumptuous, insurance coverage carrier would insist on software similar to this. And so there are a number of options out there. And the administration, after evaluation, as far as I can tell, and experience with the product, chose this product.
Okay. Have you ever heard of it, Mr. Chairman?
I have my own non-disclosure, non-reasons for not answering that question. So.
Okay. Not necessarily helpful. I understand. So that's all my questions.
Thank you.
Right. So you had another topic that wasn't as part of these reports then, correct?
Yes, I have one last item, which would become item K on purchase report B for Air Gas USA for $29,002.52. Sorry, Trustee Georgia. This purchase.
Take that, Bob.
This purchase is for 2 used Lincoln Electric PowerWave 300C welders and their accessories for the welding program. These units were used solely for demonstration purposes and have under 24 hours of use. They will come pre-calibrated for our welding program and include the standard 3-year warranty from the manufacturer. The vendor has offered a discounted price for a cost savings of $7,750, but they can only hold the equipment and pricing through the end of September. Although this opportunity came after the purchase reports were finalized, the value to students and the cost savings made it important for us to bring it forward tonight. These welders will enhance hands-on training and will be funded through the SCC4 Advanced Manufacturing Grant. This purchase would be exempt from bid under Exemption 1 as pre-owned equipment.
Any questions on my left here? No, I'm sorry, did I cut you off? Were you
I
done?
was going to ask the same thing you just asked.
Okay, I'm going to start over here. Any questions? Bob?
Is this equipment compatible with what we have, or is it a different kind of welding equipment?
It is compatible. We have currently one of this model for the instructor station, but the instructors are only able to show the whole class on that machine, which is very advanced. This will give hands-on for the students to also have access to use that machine.
Any other questions? Thank you. And I'd just like to have somebody let the city know we're not violating any properties code with the bonfire software. We're not burning anything. I'd hate to have them get all. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, you got one?
Yes, I have a question about, if I may ask about purchase reports C and D. It seems like these are for the HSC and the SSC buildings. Are you using 2 different providers for furniture and supplies for these two buildings?
That's a great question. I'm trying to catch up to you.
Yeah, take your time.
All right, so C for atmosphere, that is for the office furniture as our standard, and
Okay.
it is for HSC and Student Center.
Okay.
The Kruger International is more the like lounge furniture, the soft spaces, massage therapy, classrooms. So there's a difference in the two furniture types that these two vendors provide, and it is the standards for both of those buildings.
So is there going to be a student lounge created within the HSC building then? Is that the intent? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I just want to ask, that's all the questions I have.
Good question.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So the item that you brought up last will be on the purchase report for end of the month, correct?
Okay.
The last one, yes,
Yeah, okay.
in there.
Thank you.
Good job, Karen. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And is there a cash and investment report?
Good evening. My name is Lori Mack. I'm the Executive Director of Finance, and I'm going to present the cash and investment report for August. Operating cash and investments decreased slightly over $3.7 million from July to August to $102.5 million, and this is due to the cash flow cycle. The percent of operating cash and investments is 95.42%. Working cash funds decreased by approximately $29,000 to $1.8 million as funds are being used for the HSC third floor project. Capital funds increased approximately $2.3 million to $84.5 million as we continue to receive property tax receipts from the counties. Are there any questions?
Questions? Questions? I'll start with Bob, then I'll get to John. Bob?
On your operating cash balance, it says the percentage of coverage of operating budget is 95%. How many months does that represent? If we got no income, how many months of operations could we support?
Almost 11 months.
11 months.
Yes.
Very good. John?
Well, this question is a short and small follow-up, I guess, then. And I always ask our finance director or Ellen, are we in good shape or not?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Any other questions? Are you just picking lint off your microphone? Okay, okay. All right. Any other things for cash and investment? Nope. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
All right. Operations discussion, board liaison, trustee Trojan. I'm going to table that until next meeting. No, go ahead.
In the absence of Mr. Jenks, Dr. Huntley will make a presentation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have the opportunity this evening to be able to present to you the Rock Valley College Board Policy Manual, Article 2 Operations Review. Just as a reminder of the process, the first step in the process is that our legal team from Robin Schwartz will review the policies to be able to make sure that all policies are in congruence and compliance with current legal standards. And then we have an internal review that will look at the amended agreement to make sure that it's constitutionally aligned with what our practices are. Recommended changes, which is what we're doing today, are made to the Board of Trustees for a first reading. If there are any concerns, then we ask that you bring those forth. As board members, you should have received both the red line version of the article with our proposed changes and a clean version of those changes as well. If there are no lingering concerns, then a second reading will be presented to the board for the next month prior to voting on these applicable changes. And any existing or continuing concerns will be reviewed by all parties prior to board approval. If approved, Human Resources and Marketing and Communications will work together to update the board policy manual on our college's website and to communicate these changes to our community. Next slide, please. Just as an executive summary of the changes that we have made, Article 2 Operations of the Rock Valley College Board Policy Manual addresses the general operations of the college. Many of these policies are being updated in conjunction with our legal acts, making sure that we are enforcing state laws, policies, and ICCB guidelines for general safety, operations, procurement, and technology. In this section specifically, we're focusing on the following. 1, making sure that we have congruent board report numbers. 2, the usage of titles and descriptors that will align with the functions of the college are correct. 3, implementation of programs, committees, initiatives, and plans that will support board policy and relevant acts and legal guidelines. Additionally, requirement of procedural manuals and administrative procedures is also mentioned in the board policy. Whenever there is mention of that, we want to make sure that we actually have those procedures to go along with the board policy. We also have reviewed to make sure that there is consistent messaging with our college-issued documents, such as our employee handbook and the student handbook, which our community receives. Additionally, which I will discuss in a little bit of detail a little bit later, we have 3 policies from Article 3, Human Resources, that we are requesting to be moved over to operations, and then 2 brand new policies, and this is based upon guidance from Robin Schwartz, that will apply not only to those specific groups, but to the campus at large. So who does that include? That includes students, that includes employees, that includes visitors, that includes vendors. We want to make sure that these policies are relevant and available for everyone to receive, and operations is the most appropriate place for those to be. Just as a review, I'd like to point out that these are the policies that we went through to either update current existing administrative procedures and or to create new administrative procedures. And so we want to make sure that we have a comprehensive review of board policy and administrative procedures. And so we have worked with campus partners to make sure that this work has been done through these administrative procedures, which are posted on our website. As I previously mentioned, there are 5 policies that we are recommending that aren't currently within Section 2, Article 2 operations that we are adding, 3 of which we are looking to move from Article 3, Human Resources, to Article 2 operations. So that would be prohibiting sex-based misconduct, violence and disruptive behavior, and service and other animals. The 2 new policies that we are looking to move into operations, one would be Drug-Free Schools and Communities Act, and the other one is non-discrimination and anti-harassment. And it is not that we do not have board policies that address those issues, but we want to once again make sure specifically that the entire campus community has access and understands the relevance and their role in ensuring that we are carrying out these policies.
Before you go any further, any questions on that far?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did I have this right that that Robin Schwartz looked over these board policies to start, and then there was an internal review?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. And were any board members included in any of the review?
The review was conducted by myself and Mrs. Ann Kerwitz, and then with the relevant members who were in the divisions that carry out those board policies.
Right. And so the answer is no, right?
Correct.
I'd just like to add, this is the time where the board has their input.
Yes.
Between our opportunity.
Right.
Do it. And this is, I would ask you, since there's substantial changes here, take a breather and then ask us for any questions. Like, this is what I was really looking for. What did you decide to move? And I guess a follow-up question to Trustee Nelson's question was, so Robin Schwartz reviewed these first, and the administration or the team here reviewed them second. Were there any recommendations that Robin Schwartz made that the administration, that the team here chose not to include or adopt?
That is a great question. You have the red line version, and in that, on the comments on the side,
Okay.
it indicates what Robin Schwartz's comment was, and then we also have a comment below on each
Okay.
one of those policies that indicate whether or not we did. Off the top of my head, I can't tell you how many, did or did not, but it is indicated on your red line version what action we took, whether or not we chose to accept the recommendation or not.
All right. Any other questions on up to this point?
I do. I have a quick one.
Gloria?
You mentioned about once these are implemented, that it's, the information is distributed to the students. How do we do that? I mean, because a lot of times, not just necessarily here, but whether it's a public or private institution, it's included in a handbook and it's fine print. But anything that changes, is there a specific way to get this information to them so that they make sure they understand it?
Yes, ma'am. And so we are using our RVC News, which is sent out throughout the week to both employees and students.
Okay.
And once a month is our target right now while we are making these changes to make sure that any of those policies and procedures are updated. So through email is where both our students and our employees would receive that RVC News communication. And we have an extensive list of all of the policies and procedures that would be updated.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And just to follow up on that, so, and then these are posted on our publicly in the website.
Correct.
In the first place too. And do you have a hard version copy is available at the office for inspection? We have something like that too.
They are all available online, so if someone made the request for a hard copy to be printed, we could accommodate that.
Okay, very good.
But they're available online.
You said that there were comments made by Robin Schwartz in terms of the reasonings for the policy changes and all that, correct?
Yes.
Would, in terms of the handbook that's going to be online for these policy changes that are going to be changed, would you be able to provide the old policy and connected with what has changed with that policy so that students can see the difference in change of that policy?
I'm not sure if I understand your question, so I'm going to try to answer, and if I don't, please let me know that.
I can clarify. So
You can't even read it.
So what I mean by that is like comparison and contrast of the original policy versus the new policy, showing this was what the original policy was before, now this is what the new policy is.
For students to view?
Yes.
And so we traditionally have not done that because once those changes are presented to the board and the board votes on them, that becomes the new policy.
Yeah.
The red line versions, I'm sorry to interrupt, the red line versions are part of our packets and are available for public inspection and review and download.
Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, then with that, to make that a little bit more easier for students to be able to discover, is there any way you're going to make it to where students can directly access that along with just to condense it and simplify it? Because I know when you're pointing out this is where to go for this, that students are going to get confused.
And so in the RVC News that's in there, the hyperlinks are there that you can click directly on the name of the board policy and go directly to it where it is online.
Okay. Okay.
Any questions, Trustee Nelson?
Well, I appreciate, being given a couple of days to look this over, but I'm not going to be ready for a first reading in September, I'll tell you that.
Well, this is the first reading.
You get a whole month to review it and then comment next month.
Right.
Correct?
Well, we can handle it any way you want. If you're not comfortable advancing it after, this is first, we got a second. We've got questions in the meantime, forward them on. And if we still have substantial questions, we can work through it. So.
Well, I'm going to need some time to do that, and I'll take it. But I'm just pointing out that it just seems to me that the board was ignored in the process, and I just don't feel comfortable with the idea that we're just going to ram this through and nobody's going to read it.
Well, unless you view the video of this meeting, the YouTube of it, John, you would have missed two of your fellow board members shaking their heads. No, this is the opportunity that they're giving us to review it. We've got a month or more. I guess the question would be, are we under any legal deadline to get this done by any time? Nope.
You have next steps.
Sure, and so this may address your concern. With regard to next steps, as we stated, this is the primary reading, but if there are any questions or requested changes, once you have had the chance to review those may be directed toward the president's office. And then if we need more time, as you indicated, then we can extend that time. And so it is not restricted to just a first and second reading in these 2 months. If we need more time, then we are happy to do so to make sure that we are getting all the applicable changes made and made correctly to best suit our campus.
So you have your questions. We'll try to address them by the second reading. And if you're uncomfortable with us moving forward with a vote for the second reading, just share it at that second reading, and
I'll just take it off the agenda and we won't vote on it. But I concur, and it's not only this unit, this board, but other boards where they get agendas, 3 or 4 business days before a meeting, and sometimes it's over a weekend when, we don't have, maybe we've got other commitments, try to get the stuff. We know it's coming, but we may not have the time to review something like this where there are a lot of substantial changes. But the process does allow for time to review it, and a first and a second pass, and we can always extend that time. I realize people have vacations and other commitments too. So, Bob, did you have something?
I was just going to say the same thing. In my view, the process that you're following is the correct one. You reviewed it, the attorneys have reviewed it. Now it's up to the board to review it. We have a whole month to review it, comment, and if there's still comments, we'll have another month, and if need be, we can delay it another month. So there's plenty of time for the board members to review this documentation.
And after addressing some of John's concerns, maybe kind of abruptly, I do want to remind President Spearman, probably a year or so ago, we did have a discussion about having a board member work with you as a liaison on these changes. I believe Crystal Soltow volunteered for that committee. I don't know how active she's been in pursuing that, but I'll ask her. Thank you. So, and she's not here to defend herself, so I'll give her an opportunity to address that concern. So,
thank you. Any additional questions?
Any other questions?
Did you just say Crystal was our representative?
Crystal volunteered to participate in a review of the policy. I'd have to check the minutes about how long ago that was. And when we reorganized this past spring, and I asked her about position on the board, she wanted to continue in that capacity. But I discussed with President Spearman if he remembers any discussion or ongoing thing, and I don't think there was. And I think that was probably just a communication breakdown between the board and President Spearman. But now going forward, I'm trying to tie up some of those loose ends, and we'll see if we have a board member who is interested. I don't want to be unfair to her or to you. So. Any other questions? And if we don't have somebody working on it, visiting them, I don't want to hold up the process because, board members' availability may not be aligned with the availability of the team here. So I do appreciate your presentation, the redlining of the documents. In terms of our student trustees' concerns about kind of linking stuff up or having a short form of what was changed, give it some consideration. See if you can find any examples of similar things that would make it easier for somebody to say, oh, this is what was changed from the original to now. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Good job.
Wow.
Rock Valley College events calendar. Is that
Yes.
you too?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so, just as a review of our calendar at a glance, I would like to mention that athletics are in full swing. And so, you will see a series of athletic events with our soccer team and with our volleyball teams. Additionally, tomorrow night, so on the 10th, we will have the massage therapy graduation at 6:00 p.m. I would also like to bring your attention to September 20th. We will have the Tom Lombardo tree dedication, who Tom Lombardo was a long-standing faculty member of the college, and that is who we're dedicating that in honor of. On September 25th, we have State University Transfer Day. This is an annual event that occurs where our state college partners come on campus, and it provides our students access to be able to gather more information from those institutions about the transfer process. September 25th through 28th, our theater will be presenting Night's Dream Shakespeare productions at the BST grounds. And so that is another opportunity to be able to highlight the fantastic work our theater department does. And finally, I would like to point out that on October 1st, we will have our annual college night. And that is an event that both our students and our community is invited to come and partake of to be able to learn about entrance to the multiple colleges and universities that we have access to. Any questions about our schedule?
I guess I just need clarification for September 25th. There's DAP Club Gold Ball. What's DAP?
Sure, I'm going to phone a friend to Dr. Pyre so he can explain.
I believe DAP is Delta Alpha Pi, which is the honor society for the TRIO program.
Oh,
and that goal ball, I have never played, but it's a newer game that they're trying out. I don't know much about the game, but it's another new pickleball type world that we're living in.
Yeah, that's what came to mind is pickleball. So it's like, yeah.
Kids these days.
Okay, thank you.
Kids.
Would our student trustee be familiar with this up and coming thing for us?
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay,
Pickleball's for old people.
I'm all about transparency and honesty. So if you don't know, don't guess. Okay. All right, next.
Maybe they could have it at the CEO Challenge next year.
Goal ball.
We'll let Bob take that up.
I don't even know what it is. So.
Training for next.
Okay.
Any additional questions about the calendar?
Questions?
I have a question about the State University Transfer Day.
Sure.
So is that for all students here?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Just wanted to ask, not asking for anyone in particular, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other questions? You subbed well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
And I think the last thing we have is a personnel report that I'm up here for.
Yeah. Any questions on the personnel report?
I would suggest you put that one for the schedule, either schedule, last one. Don't miss it.
I don't think we'll miss it. It's just that it's kind of a mission of mine. We get the personnel report. We can review it. It's in your packet. Feel free to, ask questions on it. But henceforth, we are not voting on it. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you didn't want to lose it, you would put it first, so it aligned kind of like a stack, like a other business, unfinished and/or new business. Chairman.
Yes, thank you. I want to make sure that you save the date. Trustee Nelson is part of the executive committee for ICTA, and he is the representative for the Northern ICTA
Northwest region.
Thank you. And Trustee Nelson has asked us to move forward with a meeting for this fall semester. So we're going to try to do that Thursday, November 6th at 5 p.m. We haven't decided where. We're looking at two locations right now. We're looking in aviation, Education Career Education Center. So in the hangar, and depending if how that disrupts students' learning, that doesn't work, we may go into the Health Science Center in the lobby area. So save the day, it will be inviting the other Rock Valley College trustees with the other Illinois Valley Community College, Sauk Valley Community College, Kishwaukee, as well as Highland to campus to learn more. We get to highlight our campus as well as speak to some of the trending topics around community college around the state and maybe at the national level. And Trustee Nelson will help determine those topics and how we move forward.
I think our airport maintenance facility would be great, especially if you get a tour of AAR to see.
I believe you didn't want to interfere with any.
The classes, so we have a cohort that starts 5 to 9, right? 5 to 9. So I've been working with Dr. Stewart to see if we can do it, if we can fit it in. If we're really going to displace students and they can't adjust, then we just won't do it.
Any room at AAR? Or isn't it?
Yes, but then we would have to collaborate and ask them if they want to give us that type of security to let everybody else in.
Dr. Stewart was chuckling during the presentation, but I don't think it was about the presentation. Would you like to share us with it, what you're talking about? Okay.
And this, what day?
Thursday, November 6th.
November 6th.
Typically it's at
5 or 6?
November 6th at 5 o'clock.
6.
Yes.
The 6 at 5.
6 at 6.
Go backwards.
And I think you were not giving Trustee Nelson adequate recognition. He championed this cause, he brought it to you, and he used his wealth of diplomatic experience to convince you. Did I make up for my beating up on you earlier? So there you go. So.
Paul?
All right.
You can't embarrass Mr. Nelson. Don't worry about it.
That comes from a judge.
Yeah.
All right. Any other unfinished or new business?
No, sir.
All right. So we're going. What?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I've been working somewhat with both you and the president about a temporary hire of a lobbyist.
Where, can we table that discussion? Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
We're gonna, next we're gonna go into adjourn to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, or educational setting per Section 2C1, and that's it. Do I have a motion to go into close to discuss the items under there?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by John Nelson, a second by Gloria. Any roll call?
Nelson.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Trojan.
Yes.
Goldsmith, yes. Kudia.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Gorski.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'll let President Spearman pick the people he wants in this discussion.
None at this time. Besides Attorney Matt
Okay.
Gardner.
You're all given a break, and I don't expect this to last too long. So.
They all gave me the stare like.
Bob, you wanted to talk about more tonight. I'm trying to move it along. Okay, reconvening into open session. All right? We didn't vote on anything. We didn't take any final action in close, and so we're coming out into open. And the next regular Board of Trustees meeting is September 23rd, 2025 at 5:15 p.m. The meeting will be held in the Performing Arts Room, PAR, room 0214, in the Educational Resource Center, ERC, on the main campus. Now, also, the next Committee of the Whole meeting, October 14th, 2025 at 5:15. The meeting will be held at Advanced Technology Center, room 1400 Big Thunder Boulevard, Belvedere, Illinois. And I had asked, and it's not there. This is an acknowledgement and in recognition of Manufacturing Month, which is the thing we've been doing for the last few years, having a special meeting there. Or not special, but...
Well, that's very generous. That's very nice. Was to recognize the manufacturing.
Oh, I think it was Bob Trojan's idea.
And he's bringing the food, too.
Even better yet.
So,
my
do I have a
birthday,
motion to adjourn the regular meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Bob Trojan, seconded by Gloria, even though she didn't say it.
No, I said it.
Oh,
Did I say
okay,
it? Oh, did you
fine.
say it? Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't
I'm
matter.
just moving ahead.
anyway.
Roll call.
Nelson?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Yes.
Trojan? Goldsmith, yes. Kudia?
Sure.
Blake?
No, another column.
Blake?
Yes.
Okay. Gorski?
Yes, and for Ann, Bob Trojan made that motion, and we had 6 other seconds. So,
But I only marked one.
That means we're all in a
or
hurry to
5
get out of
other
here.
seconds, I guess. 5. Yeah, pick one.
We're adjourned.
Everybody wants to get out.
The books that you received, Jennifer and Amanda plan to